Welcome to the Fantasy Football Drive. Out here, Sean and BK.
Fantasy Football Drive. BK here, and we're back with Sean. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing excellent. Another week closer to the season. We're getting ready to be in the draft era where everybody's going to be getting their drafts done here before the season kicks off. Man, things are getting tight.
Full slate of preseason games coming up starting Thursday. Again, as we mentioned, 2 Thursday, 5 on Friday, and a full slate Saturday and a game on Sunday just to warm your little soul.
Right? Too bad we won't see too many starters.
No, but I like, even for example, the coaches announced that Jordan Love's starting for the Packers against the Niners on Friday. I'm I I'm totally interested in seeing Jordan Love play. So I mean, if he plays even a quarter, I'll tune in. I just want to see what he's got.
Yeah, I wonder if Rogers is too busy filming Con Air too.
Yeah, I believe he is.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Either that or Face Off, the sequel.
Right?
Uh, so a little bit of news. So the Broncos offensive coordinator. This is not the news we like, but the Broncos offensive coordinator says Williams and Gordon will be on a pitch count and will split carries evenly throughout the season. Wah, wah, wah. Bad news for all Williams owners. Go ahead, Sean.
Man, I hate them committee bags like that. It really takes the value away from the fantasy side of things. Um, it's just not a good situation for neither one of them.
No, yeah, that committee stuff, and it's garbage. And I think a lot of people were really high on Williams, myself included, this year. I even was going to use him as a keeper in one of my leagues, and I think now I'm going to second guess that and possibly go a different route. So that news will be affecting a lot of people. Will it actually come to fruition? Hard to say, but can't just totally ignore what these coaches are saying, especially when you look last year. Gordon and Williams both literally had an exact split carries. So bad news, but we'll see what happens. Also, Traylon Burks. He's actually only been practicing with the second and third teamers. It's a little disappointing. I know a lot of us kind of have him in that wide receiver 3 category. Um, he came in unconditioned. He's been running the wrong routes in camp. So I think that wide receiver 3 could be a little high right now. I'm gonna adjust my rankings on that. I might even set him back. You know, maybe into that wide receiver 4 or 5 category right now.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same there, BK. But like you said, give him a couple preseason games. He could just jump right back up there.
Yeah, and if he does, I'll move him back up. But that just makes me uncomfortable. I mean, especially running routes, the coming into camp unconditioned. You're really asked to do a couple things: be in shape and know how to run routes. And if you're not doing either one of those successfully, not a good sign.
Right?
Um, Also, we had news that the Jets right tackle Mekhi Becton, he ended up having a small chip size fracture in his kneecap. He is expected now to miss some significant time. He's a big dude in that Jets offensive line that isn't exactly that strong or full of depth anyway. So I think that's going to have a little bit of an impact on Brees Hall. Maybe not necessarily a huge impact, but I still think that's going to at least kind of make things a little more difficult for that run game.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be painful. A chip on the kneecap.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's got to be rough.
And there's just nothing they can really do. I mean, unless you go in for surgery. So.
Yeah, and they always try and avoid that, because then he does that and he's done for the whole season for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We don't want to hear that.
No. Um, and lastly, here for the news, we have some from the Ravens. Actually, Gus Edwards is leaning to be doubtful, according to coaches, going into Week 1. And J.K. Dobbins just was able to avoid the pup list. So he's going to be rejoining the team at camp and in practice. And if that's the case, and he's looking like he's good to go, I think you can kind of give him a big bump, a significant bump up in the rankings, especially with Edwards out early on in the season. So, good news. Good news for anybody that already owns Dobbins or is planning on it, and not so good news for those Edwards owners. That's all I have for news, Sean. Now I think we're gonna get into a question from a listener here from Gene D. I'm gonna let you answer this one first.
Okay.
So you get to keep 2 guys out of these 4, but you lose the corresponding round. So I don't know which one you would think, or which 2 you think will have the best value here, but so you can choose Debo, which would be a 7th round keeper. Mike
Okay.
Williams would be a 9th round keeper.
Okay.
Rashad Bateman, 13th round.
Got you.
Cole Kmet in the 12th round. Keep 2 of those guys, lose that round.
Let me think about that one. Debo in the 7th, Williams in the 9th, Rashad in the 13th,
Yep.
or Clement in the 12th. You know, I like the Rashad Bateman in the 13th. I see that's a really good value. I think Bateman would be one of them. I would keep Bateman. And I would probably keep Debo in the 7th. I think that's really good value for Debo.
Okay. That's funny because I expected you to go the complete opposite way of me, but that's exactly what I had as well, believe it or
Well,
not.
great minds think alike, BK.
I really thought that you were going to lean with Williams and Bateman, but I wasn't sure. And I know you like Mike Williams quite a bit too. And you got to admit, the value there is close. I mean, if you're looking at Debo and Mike Williams, so Debo 7th is probably going 2nd round in a 12-teamer. Mike Williams is a 9th, and he's probably going the 4th or 5th round. So that value is pretty similar with Debo. But yeah, I think with Bateman being a 13th, that's really good value. I think we can both tell you in confidence that Bateman and Debo would be your 2 best choices.
Right. There you go, Gene D. I hope that helps you out in your decision making there.
Yes, thanks for sending the question in too. Appreciate it. Now we're gonna jump into everybody's favorite, and that is pass or draft. Woo! All right, Sean, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'm gonna kick it off, man. I got some good ones for you today, there, BK. I got some real good ones.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, Allen Robinson, 5th round. Pass or draft?
Robinson in the 5th. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. I have Robinson a little deeper, probably 8th to 10th round for me. So that'd be quite a jump for me.
Yeah. Some people see value there. Some people don't. I'm with you. I think he's a little later. All right, next one for you. Dallas Goedert in the 7th round.
It's right on the cusp. If it's late 7th, I would draft. If it's early 7th, it would be pass.
Well, I mean, I would be drafting late 7th. Where you would probably be drafting mid 7th. So what about the mid area there?
Late, yes. Late draft, mid. It's so quite pat. Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Dude, that's a tough one there. It is really a tough one.
Especially as an Eagles fan. It's even tougher.
Right? Well, I figured I'd throw that one out there because, I mean, I really do figure that Goddard's going to see some action, especially with Brown, so.
Yeah, that's a good one and a great position to ask.
I got another one for you. Nick Chubb, 2nd round.
I have my concerns, but I would take him in the 2nd round. I would draft him there.
Yeah, I mean, I heard little rumors that Hunt's trying to get a trade, so
yeah,
he might be riding some bench a little more, trying to get out of there. I don't think he's gonna be as productive as he was before. So I think Chubb's going to get a lot of carries. So I think I'm with you there too. I would probably draft him in the second.
Yeah, and with the expectations of, he's not going to be a guy that's going to get you probably 15 plus touchdowns. He's probably in that 10 to 12 area. So probably a realistic RB2. So if I was taking him in that second round, I would either hope to have a really solid wide receiver or another running back ahead of him.
Yep. And then my last one here for you, Kyler Murray in the 6th round.
Draft. I'm taking Kyler in the 6th. I love his
Kyler in the
upside.
6th.
Love his upside. Love the rushing yards. Love the rushing touchdowns. And for that, I have him as my 6th overall quarterback on my rankings list. So yeah, I would take him in the 6th round.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. So split 2 pass and 2 drafts.
Nice. You brought your A game. I like those, Sean. Thank you.
Right. I mean, put some thought in these. What do you got for me, buddy? What do you got?
All right. Let's see if I can match that. That's tough. It's tough to come after that. So I'm going to utilize my first question. I'll utilize has 3 parts that you'll have to answer.
Okay.
So we're looking mid 8th round. Trey Lance,
Pass.
Derek Carr,
Draft.
Kirk Cousins.
Draft.
So you got Cousins and Carr both in the 8th. You'll pass on Lance.
I'm not a huge Lance fan. I mean, what I saw last year, I feel he doesn't have the report that Garoppolo did, and just to try to come in there with that offense, that high-powered offense, and take control, it might be kind of hard for him.
Yeah. I think you're taking a little bit of a risk there, where with Carr he comes in with his college wide receiver, the best wide receiver in the game. Now there with Waller and Renfro, the reception machine, and then you got Cousins who has Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen there. So that's a good combo. And Lance leaves you the questions of, is he going to run much? We don't know really yet. Does he have the accuracy?
Does he have the respect of his players?
That too. That too.
So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Yeah, that was a good one, man.
All right, and then another one for you, Damian Harris. And this one I'm going to utilize where? Early 6th round. Damian Harris, early 6th round.
That's a tough one. Early 6th, Damian Harris. You know what? I would probably pass.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Are you?
I would probably pass on that one. Normally, I'm face deep in receiver right there.
Are you also higher on Stevenson? Does that impact your decision there?
It does impact my decision with him there. Like I said, I just find more value in the area of rounds to be in my receivers. I'm still getting good quality receivers in that area. So
yeah, there is a pretty good chunk of guys that you can get for wideouts there in that 6th and 7th round that may give you 3rd to 4th round return value or better. So yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I knew that one would be tough because it's right on the cusp of where his ADP is.
Yeah, and there's just so many, like you said, along with the first one, there's just so much gray area there. It's hard to pick him.
Yep. Now I'm going to stick with my Raiders theme here, since you had Carr as a draft. About Hunter Renfro, mid 8th round.
Oh, draft all day.
All day. I know
All
you
day.
love your little Hunter Renfro.
All day. Hey, he held me on my way to my championship last year. Dude, got mad respect for the guy. So,
Well, he's good for 100 receptions.
And all I see is Devontae Adams helping him out and making him better because, like I said, Devontae can't get them all. They got to go somewhere else. So,
one thing that I really haven't heard many people talk about this either is, where Josh McDaniels came from, right? New England.
No.
He was New England's offensive coordinator. And do you remember any little white slot receivers that happened to play in New England that did anything while McDaniels was the OC there?
Only
Maybe
a
like
few.
maybe like a Julian Edelman, Wes
Wes Welker,
Welker, Danny Amendola.
right?
He's going into Josh McDaniels' hands. Hunter Renfro could easily be that little Julian Edelman, Wes
Oh,
Welker type.
I mean, he was doing great last year. What like you said, he can only get better.
Yeah, I just think I think him of all people is being overlooked the most. I figured this would be an easy draft for you in the 8th round, but it's about where his ADP is, roughly, maybe just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I see. Like he'd be somebody I might reach a little farther up for just because I have a pass with him and he hasn't done me wrong, and I
Yeah,
see a lot of upside on him, so that other people might not.
yeah. That when somebody's done you right in the past, it does make it a little easier to reach for them in the future. So,
Right?
my last passer draft for you, Sean, Antonio Gibson, late 3rd round.
Ooh, Antonio Gibson,
Late third.
late third round. I mean that would depend. I mean that's where I'm drafting. It would depend on what I got in my first two. I would say if I went receiver, I would probably be interested in Gibson. So I would say draft in that strategy. But if I had a better running back in the first two, I would probably pass. So I'm
Yeah,
like 50-50. So like a pass and a draft. How's that?
yeah. No. I think that's applicable here. So I think that's actually a totally decent answer because that is tough. Because even I've sort of fallen out of favor with Gibson on some of the news that I'm hearing, especially with Brian Robinson, the rookie coming in, vulturing some of those touchdowns now. I don't know. I feel like I got to shift him at least a little bit, and that spot that's right on that cusp. So I'm right there with you, Sean.
Yeah, but it would all matter on how my draft was going at that point. So that's a really tough one to answer and give you guys a straight answer. So
Yeah, so that's a more situational one. So we're gonna leave that as pass and draft.
I'll pass and draft. See what you guys
Um,
got about that one.
so we'll move on from that, and we'll jump straight into our main topic, as you guys know, is sleeper wide receivers. Right in the title for the podcast.
Right?
Um, I'm just gonna jump in, kind of, go over a few here, and we'll just kind of talk about them as we go. Guy I love, Alec Pierce on the Indianapolis Colts. Practicing with the ones, pretty much since day one of training camp, from what I've heard. Um, I love this guy. And you have anything to add about him, Sean?
See, I'm gonna argue with you on this one because I got another Indy receiver
Okay.
in mine. So I mean I got Paris Campbell going as one of my
I ahead
sleepers.
of Alex Pierce.
I mean they're both sleepers.
Yeah, but is Paris Campbell going to actually be able to play in football games, or is his little pinky toe going to hurt?
I mean that depends on if he's wedging his foot in Alec Pierce's butt.
Well, it is training camp, and the rookies have to do weird stuff, so you never know.
Right? And I can see, I could actually, I could see either one of these guys taking Pittman's job. So,
Pittman is going absolutely nowhere. The guy is an absolute monster. End of
yeah.
story. Discussion over.
You don't
There's
think
no
Pierce
need
can
to
take,
bring
you
it up.
don't think Pierce can take him? I thought you were confident on that sleeper
Oh, I'm
there.
really high on Pierce, but I picture him in that almost Hunter Renfro role. Uh,
Ooh.
very
Well, that,
similar.
that leaves Paris Campbell on the other side.
If his pinky toe doesn't hurt. That's been his only downfall, is the guy's little soft tissue injuries.
But then we just got, our sleeper tight end like Cox will just come in there and take all of them out.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how Alex Pierce, when he's done and he's a top 25 receiver at the end of the year. We'll talk again.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. I can't wait, dude. That's a good pick, though. I mean, I do like Alec Pierce, too. But, I mean, I value, I think, them both about the same right now until I can see some more on them both.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting Pierce ahead of Campbell. Um, Again, got to see what you got out of Campbell first. Hey, I have tons of rookie cards of him. I'm rooting for him, but man, stay healthy. Stay
right?
healthy, my brother.
It is hard, but you know what? Everybody says everybody gets hurt, and it's part of football.
This is 100% true. Now another guy that I have is another guy that you also have, and that's Romeo Doubs, who's making all sorts of noise with Aaron Rodgers talking about him out of camp. Um, yeah, I had to toss him in here. The noise is there. Um, I've seen the highlights too. I was not going to leave him off this list, and it sounds like you had the same
I mean,
opinion.
I was right there. I was shocked when you told me he was on yours. I mean, like you said, he's the talk of camp. He's making big moves, and if you're impressing Aaron Rodgers right off the bat, that's huge, huge in Green Bay.
Yes.
And Aaron Rodgers is looking for that person. So, good job, Romeo.
Yeah, and I mean that's basically how that happened with Adams too. Adams, I believe, was a fourth round pick, which is same as what Dobbs was. Um, you never know, you never know what these guys are going to do. Dobbs could end up being another Devontae Adams. Maybe not right away, but he's going to have that sleeper potential there.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
How about you hit us with a couple of your sleeper wide receivers, Sean?
Well, I'll start with the top of my list since you already took my 2 and 3 off the board.
You're
I got
welcome.
KJ Osborne,
Ah, Minnesota.
Minnesota. I mean, anything happens to Jefferson or Thielen, this kid's there,
Yeah.
and it's he's going to go right into that role, and he's proven already that he can do it.
Yeah,
So
he had some big games last year.
and that's why I got him on my sleeper list. I see him having more this year too. One of those guys is bound to get hurt or be out for a couple games. KJ Osborne will be a great filler, a great sleeper on your list. So he's somebody to keep an eye on in the later rounds. I definitely see good value in him.
Yeah, and I also want to point out, I don't think that you need Thielen or Jefferson to necessarily be out for him to have some value. I think Osborne could give you value, um, even with those guys there. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But I think you could be onto something with a guy that could have some bigger potential.
Yeah, yeah, I really see something there. And then I'll jump a couple up to my fourth. Jawan Jenkins from San Fran. I
Okay.
see him coming in as a W wide receiver 3. Playing the slot. I might have better luck. Hooking up with Lance. Even though I'm not a huge Lance fan, because Debo and Kittle were more staged to Garoppolo. But I mean, he had 5 touchdowns last year. I can see him at least getting a few more than that this year. So,
Okay. Now I didn't even know too much about this guy, so you're bringing some good info to us. Thank you.
so, well, I'll shoot it back to you and see who throw some more up there, bud.
Yeah, I have a homer guy that it's not intentionally a homer, but guy that I'm personally high on, and I was even high on him going into last year. Quez Watkins on the Eagles. Um, this guy has blazing speed. I mean, I think in Madden ratings, he's the guy right behind Tyreek Hill. So he's like Cheetah Junior. Uh, the problem is, can Jalen Hurts get the ball down the field effectively and make Quez an actual viable option? Because AJ Brown's going to clog up some coverage. That's going to open up for Quez to have some deep routes with safeties pulling over towards AJ. So I would expect that Quez will have the opportunity to get deep. Will Hurts be able to get him the ball? If he can, look out for Watkins. He could be a big sleeper this year.
Oh yeah, with that type of speed, I mean, that is dangerous.
Yeah, and he returns kick returns too. So if you're in a league that gets kick return yards, another reason to keep your eye on Quez Watkins.
Doubling up. I see that. It's always a smart thing to do.
Always, man. And another guy that I really like is, and I've mentioned him before. You should get to used to his name, and that is Nico Collins on the Houston Texans. He is locked in as that number 2. I expect an easy 80 balls and 6 touchdowns from him this year, with probably at minimum 750 yards. Um, I think the value for him is going to be there. especially as a sleeper.
All right. Hey, what round do you see him going in?
Um, right now he's ranked 74th overall by consensus. If you're looking 12 team, you're looking what sixth round.
Well, that's
Somewhere in
not too
there.
bad a value for him. That's not too bad,
Uh,
especially if he's a wide receiver too. So, I mean, he's right there. Good value. Has all the potential to get the targets and get the yards. So, I like that pick. That's a good one, BK.
yeah, I think if you do happen to reach on him a little, I don't think you'd be doing yourself a disservice because I do think he. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him get 100 catches and 1,000 yards this year. So don't be afraid to reach on Nico. Sean, you got a couple more?
Yeah, I'll throw a few more here. My next one on my list is DJ Chark in Detroit. Detroit's really spent some money on their offense this year. They've been trying to put away some weapons. You got St. Brown. You got Jamison Williams. Um, I got Chark just sitting back waiting for his opportunity. Uh, with Hawkinson there too, they look dangerous. He's got a couple seasons under his belt, so he'd be a solid sleeper. I'd see him like ninth, 10th round. Get some good value under him. Somebody you could put on the bench for a little while and see how he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good spot there for him.
And then my next one here is Van Jefferson.
Oh man, we love us some Van Jefferson.
I mean, with you when your kid's named Champ, what can you say?
Yeah,
So, I like the guy. I had him on my bench last year. He wasn't too productive. Now we're back again with him. I do see value in him. I see him, doing okay. We got Cup. They picked up Robinson. I mean, Jefferson's familiar with the offense. So hopefully he can get some play time in there and get some TDs.
yeah, and I mean, Allen Robinson has been for the most part fairly healthy. He has had some slight issues, but that is a true situation where I think if anything happens to Robinson in any way, Van Jefferson's gladly going to step in that spot and go boom.
Right? I'm going to throw it back to you, BK. What do you got?
Well, I got a guy that we both have, Sean, and that is Mr. Donovan Peoples Jones on Cleveland. Right now, consensus has him at 80. Um, yeah, I like him there. I still think he's kind of in that sleeper category. Um, but he's opposite Amari. It's somebody's gonna get other targets there. There's gonna be targets to go around. I suspect that Donovan Peoples Jones, who had at moments last year, flashes. Again in the Bengals game, he had a big game, and he had another one against the Steelers. So he's shown us at times what he can do. And I had him in this, excuse me, on my sleepers, and I know that you had him on there in your list as well.
Oh, absolutely. All right, fire me off another one. Who you got there, buddy?
All right, I got Nicole Hardman. He's
Oh,
at consensus number 81 on the Kansas City Chiefs. I have him here as a sleeper. Now, again, when we mention sleepers, this isn't guys that we necessarily expect to go off, but I think it's guys that you can take a chance on. With him being 81 in consensus, I would feel more like eighth or ninth round to feel comfortable with him, maybe even 10th. But how you feeling about McCole Hardman?
well, don't they have him as a wide receiver one there in Kansas City?
To be honest with you, I have not looked much at the Chiefs depth chart. But I think Juju is listed as being number one.
Oh, I'm not happy with either one of those being number one.
Yeah, I think it's Juju and Valdez Scantling, and then
Oh,
Hardman listed in the slot.
yeah. So the guy who's been with the team the longest is in the slot. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I do like the pick. I think, like you said, he has the report. He's been there with Mahomes for a few years behind Hill. I see him getting the looks. Scanlon's new to the team. Juju's new to the team. They got to build a relationship with Mahomes. So that's a great pick there, BK.
Yeah, I think the return there would be good with him, and you're not giving up a king's ransom for him either. So
right?
um, I got one more, and I know that you're gonna love this one because it's another Packer receiver. That's Mr. Amari Rogers. Yes, I love my Packers sleepers receivers.
Are you sure you're not a hidden Packer fan? Is that why you like the green teams? Are you turning Packer on me, buddy?
I am absolutely not turning Packer on you, but I believe there is an argument here when you're in a Aaron Rodgers led system that there's going to be guys that are going to come out of the woodwork. They don't really. I mean, Lazard's listed as being the number one, and then I think they're kind of looking like who's going to show up at camp. You got Dobbs that we discussed, and um, Christian Watson, who are both rookies. And a lot of people are forgetting Amari Rogers is not a rookie this year, so he's had some time in the system, and I think that benefits him. And I believe that he could earn himself a starting role. And I'll take any Packers receiver that's in a starting role with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
I just think you wanted to say Rogers to Rogers. That's
I
all I
do.
want. That's all
It's
it
all
is.
about the Rodgers to Rodgers.
Rogers to Rogers. Hey,
Uh,
it's a good pick. You're right because Aaron Rodgers does like to share the ball, move it around. He's got a big void to fill with Adams gone. So that's a good pick, man. Good pick.
yeah, somebody's going to be catching some balls there. It's going to either be Dobbs or Rodgers, um, or both. What you
Well,
got? Another one? Another
let
couple?
me let me jump in. I got a few more. One of them's our one we have together. I'll let you nail off that one. But my next one's Jalen Tolbert for
Oh, nice.
Dallas.
Okay.
With CD on one side, and then the overpaid injured guy Gallup on the other. Um, Jalen, I think, is going to see a little bit of start in the beginning of the season, and hopefully he just thrives with it and just keeps Gallup on the sideline. Like I said, not a huge Gallup guy. Overpaid somebody who's not even going to be on the field. So it leaves the door wide open for Tolbert to get a good start. So
Yeah, and I will add, I was watching Cowboys training camp today, and I watched Jalen Tolbert make several really nice catches, and Dak was looking his way consecutive uh, plays. So, just saying.
hey, when you're catching the ball, you're gonna get more looks every time you haul it in. So that's awesome. I didn't get to catch any of the camp and any of the news like that. So, but my next one here, I'll skip the one that we have together, and I'm gonna drop to my final, which is
Your
Sed
numero
Wilson.
uno? Is that your number one?
He'd be my number one. I Sed Wilson came from Dallas. I hated to see him go. Very talented kid, but now he's going to go behind Waddle and Hill, who are just speed monsters. And I see Sed Wilson being a little slot guy over the middle for Tua to dump it off to while the other two are racing down the field. So,
I love that Said Wilson choice. As you know, I'm high on him as well. Um, Again, you can't go wrong with him in that sleeper spot. That's a great spot to have him. Not sure what his ADP is right now. I didn't look. I think it's in the 70s, I believe, 70s or 80s. So that value and that return is going to be good with a guy like Said Wilson.
yeah, I see him doing great. Well, I'll let you finish up there, buddy. Who else you got on your list?
Yeah, and it was this last guy. Well, excuse me, I have two, and we'll close out. I have Jarvis Landry on the Saints. He's currently 69th by consensus in ADP, so which is late fifth round, or excuse me, late sixth round. Um, I like him there. I this is a guy that we watched in Miami year after year get 110 plus catches. You knew you could always count on him. I think in this system, I expect it to be Jameis all year. Hopefully, he stays healthy. There's no reason that Landry can't get 90 plus balls and 900 yards and at least 5 touchdowns. I'd say that's that should be par for the course for him. So I like Landry here. Any thoughts on him?
I like him. I'm a big fan of Olave though. So
Yes. Yeah, this is where Olave's more of the guaranteed thing. That's why I have Landry more in the sleeper role, just because it's not what I necessarily expect, but I certainly think that he could get those numbers. So
I see him still getting some grabs. I'm right with you there. Later rounds, I think he's perfect. Who
yeah, and
else we
then
got?
Jamison Crowder from Buffalo, currently 87th in consensus. Sean, you know I love this guy. He's coming in right into that Cole Beasley role, and in my opinion, he's a better route runner than Cole Beasley. Some people would say I'm nuts, but that's just my opinion. Love Jamison Crowder here. He got away from the Jets. He's going to be happy. He's got Josh Allen at quarterback. This guy could absolutely go off this year.
Right on a fully stacked team. I mean that team is just nasty from head to toe. I mean defensive, offensive. I mean watch out NFL. Here comes Buffalo.
Yeah, and not to mention also, they have Dawson Knox at tight end, but then they also have OJ Howard behind him. Like, whoa! I mean, they're just stacked all over the place in Buffalo. Well, I'm going to jump right into what would be my number one sleeper. Maybe not a guy that you've heard yet, Sean. I know he's on your list as well. I'm taking this one just because it's my number one, and that is Wandale Robinson on the New York Football Giants. That is a crappy football team with a crappy quarterback, but I think Wandale's going to fit a role in a starting role there right from the get go. And I think this guy's going to pay off quick. Now, he's currently going 67th by consensus, which again, you're putting yourself like mid sixth round there. I gladly would take him there. I think he's going to pay off, and I think he's going to make some big numbers in New York this year.
Yeah, I like him better than a lot of them other receivers. We got Tony and Shepard. I see Wandale really stepping up over them. I like that pick. Like you said, he's on my list also. Good value. Hopefully, he can help New York get a little somewhere.
Yeah, and I think Slayton's on the trade block, so yeah, Shepard and Tony, and yeah, Tony can be all right, and I have him, in certain spots in my rankings, but Wandale's creeping up those rankings every week, and I don't expect that to change. So, um, yeah, that's my number one sleeper, and also brings us to the end of the show, Sean.
Is it that time already?
This is
Oh
the
man!
end of episode 9. So,
Oh man!
um,
9 episodes down, hundreds to go.
yep. So I do want to mention, as I always do, thank you for listening. And to check us out on Facebook.com/Fantasy Drive. That's Facebook.com/Fantasy Drive. Give us a like, give us a follow on there. Post a schedule. I post sound clips and stuff for the shows coming up. Keep you updated. Also, you can find us on Twitter. That's at drive_fantasy on Twitter, at drive_fantasy. You can also email me at my email, Brian at fantasyfootballdrive.com. That's BRYAN at fantasyfootballdrive.com. Send me those questions so we can answer them on the show. Sean, I'll send it over to you.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in and checking out our episode number 9, our wide receiver sleeper episode. I'd like to invite you to go check out our website if you haven't already, fantasyfootballdrive.com. You can leave us comments there. You can also leave us a review on our different, wherever you listen to us on. You got Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, even rate us on Spotify. So make sure you get on there, give us thumbs up, and give us likes and some good reviews, and we'll keep putting the show on for you guys. Send it back to you there, Brian.
Yeah, so again, I want to thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And for Sean, I'm BK. until the next time, that's the end of this drive.
Peace out, everybody.